Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new episode of the Fintech Hunting Podcast. We have a very special guest for you today. He is a host, a producer. He's a mortgage broker. He's helped tons of real estate experts close loans, worked with some of the top originators, top real estate agents. You guys are in for a treat. Please help me welcome Rich Lane. He is the executive producer and host of The Broker with Rich Lane. Rich, welcome to the show.
Hi, Michael. Thanks for having me. It's kind of fun to be interviewed. I always feel like I'm the interview guy, thrusting my obnoxious microphone, in somebody's face. So this is great.
Well, it is great to have you. You have a wealth of knowledge and experience. We had the chance to briefly meet a few weeks ago when I was in Newport Beach with a mutual friend of ours, KP, and he introduced us, and it's a great opportunity to have you. So, Rich, tell our listeners a little bit about your background, specifically in the mortgage space.
So I got into it in 2000 on the wholesale side. I quickly identified that I didn't like that channel. So I moved to the retail channel doing some mortgage brokering stuff, and found my legs there. And then in 2008, like a lot of people, business got scarce. And so I went and did a tour of duty in the corporate world with the big banks. I did not like that. I didn't think that was the best place to serve my clients, but I had to, I also like paying my bills, so that's what I did. When the business came back in around 2012, I moved back to the broker world and found it to be much better, and really just started kind of moving from there. Building out my client base, always looking for the better technology, always looking for digital ways to market myself better. And that's about it.
Excellent. All right. So you talked about tech. We're going to dive into that in a few minutes, but as you're looking at the landscape, what are some of the trends? What are some of the things you're seeing, especially as it relates to brokers in the mortgage business today, right? We went through the refi boom. Yep. It slowed up some. There's still some refis. We're doing purchases. Tell me a little bit about some market updates as you see it.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that, KP and I talk about, all the time over, dinner or whatever. I really see the industry changing here in the past year, and even more going forward 5 years. I think it's going to be, I think it's become a lot easier to do a mortgage. I think for originators, the deals are going to be fewer. It's going to be more difficult to find the deals, unlike 2020 when they're dropping out of trees. And I think that you're going to be kind of knife fighting your competition to get those deals. So, I mean, for me, identifying the trend is I know my abilities in sales and marketing, but I gotta get on a platform where the technology is really good, is really seamless for the end user experience, and somewhere that when my customers, when I sell the loan, and when they go through the process at the end, they need to be, wow, that was just like an Amazon-like Prime experience. That was great. And then from there, I'm at the top of their mind. What I cannot have going forward is a clunky experience once I've submitted a loan, whether that's on my side, in my technology, or the lender I'm sourcing to. It all has to be a great value, a great experience, and done swiftly. Bottom line.
Excellent. So in talking about that, what are some of the biggest challenges, hurdles that brokers face as it relates to technology?
I think some of the challenges is, some of the old technology out there, some of the old loan origination softwares out there. I'm not going to name names, but, it's like an old shoe. It's like, I've been using this software forever. I don't want to switch. I don't want to move all my data over, stuff like that. It's, So I think the brokers that are bold enough to know that they need to switch and make the switch and adopt to some of this new technology out there, you know, they might hit a little bit of headwinds doing it. I mean, that's this transition, but ultimately it's going to set
Right.
their infrastructure up for the, you know, I don't know, the next 5 years, so to speak.
All right. So as we talk tech, what are the things that you look for the tech, right? What are the things that you must have to deliver that great borrower experience?
For me, I like a very integrated system. I know over at UMortgage, we're using an all-in system. It's on the Arrive platform. Basically, everything works together. It communicates together. Starting with the point of sale, the quoting system, that it's very easy to price and produce a quote, a very professional looking, simple to understand quote. And then once you get commitment on that quote, moving it into the pre-structuring and submission phase. So I guess the next part would be a very easy, seamless user interface. Instead of just, you know, emailing a 1003, you have to have a digital 1003 that's very easy for the borrower to figure out. And from there, once you get into submission, what's really important, especially if you're doing purchase business, is you need to have AI, automated intelligence, updates and milestone markers for communication. And to me, if you're doing the purchase business, that is huge. You know, you got to make sure that everyone on the transaction is getting communicated to with an automated system. And this isn't brain surgery or anything, but, you know, the thing about it, it's not just that they're getting communicated, but because they're getting communicated in an automated way, it's allowing originators to focus on high-level green light forward stuff, sales, marketing, building relationship referral partners. If you're mirrored in, you know, the granule stuff of when you're submitted and communications, you know, you might have a great month in August, and then September you're probably going to see a dip. So you get these, you know, these waves of results.
Roller coaster.
Yeah,
Yep.
and that's, you know, back, you know, I don't know, 6-8 years ago, that's something I've really struggled with. And it was really hard on me, my income, my family, and something I've really worked hard to kind of iron out.
Well, I think you make such a good point. As I do a lot of coaching out there and everything, I think one of the key areas everyone wants to talk about growth and how can I close more deals and how can I get more sales? And the question I always ask is, if I dropped another 20 or 50 loans in your lap today, what would happen? And almost every broker, almost every originator said, my business would blow up.
Of course, yeah.
And I said, yes. So let's talk about why would it blow up. And what I firmly believe is, if you want to grow, you have to master what I call the manufacturing of a loan stage, from hello to fund it. If you don't master that, and if you don't automate that, and I love how you talked about a lot of this can be automated so that a trigger is sent out with communication.
Yes.
Everyone has transparency. When you master that, then you can consistently sell and market your products and services out to your audience, and you're not going to have all of those crazy dips.
100%. And
you make such...
Michael, quite candidly, I almost came off the rails last summer because, you know, like everyone, you know, I got in, you know, 20, 30 refi requests, and I didn't have the technology and the infrastructure ready for that. And, you know, the unintended consequences, I torched some real estate relationships, and that is unacceptable.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I hate to admit this right here on your show, but I mean, that's unacceptable to me. And I really had to kind of like go into this like Zen business mode of like thinking about kind of retooling some stuff so that I can replace those relationships. And I mean, that's why I migrated over, to the UMortgage and their all-in system. That it was just a necessary move. Obviously, it's business as usual per me, marketing and selling myself. I mean, that's why my clients My clients come to me because of me and the advice I'm going to give them. They don't really care who the company is behind me, but they do care about the experience. And if the experience is rotten, goodbye. I mean, and you're going to be shuttled out of the industry.
Exactly. Well, let's talk about this other key point, because I get this question all the time, and I can't wait to hear your insights on it. As you talked about, you mentioned two things. You should automate all of that communication. Mm-hmm. And then you talked about people buy from you.
Yes.
They want to work with you mm-hmm. because of your knowledge, your expertise.
Right.
The pushback I get from a lot of brokers or originators when I start talking automation is, well, that's not going to humanize my brand. I need to talk to them. I need to be the one doing all of these things. Yeah. Tell me, how do you kind of counter that? Do you see where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
and why a lot of people kind of push that up?
Yeah, no, it's tough. It's the fine edge. And so I talk about this a lot with some of the guys in the industry. You got to have, it's real simple, high tech and high touch. If you can master those and integrate them, I'm not going to guarantee success, but I'm going to say at that point, the more, you really set the table to be successful. So I think high touch is important, and no matter how high tech this industry gets, and I fully expect it to get super high tech, you still have to have the old fashioned connections this business, this mortgage broker business, is built on relationships. So you might be driving around with a Ferrari technology platform, but you still need to be the driver of that Ferrari. You still need to be out front. You still need to be picking up the phone, making the phone calls, the big phone calls, the sales calls. If there's issues, you got to be making the best loan officers. When there's issues, don't email. They call, and they call with the problem and two solutions.
Rich, I love that. And I think so many people think if you have all this technology, then you don't have to have all the relationships or vice versa. And that's not it. Technology should be used so that you can leverage and yes. enhance the relationships. Correct. I think this industry for far too long has been transaction focused instead of relationship focused.
100%. Yeah. And that's
a huge problem.
It is. And that's a core value for my team at U Mortgage is we don't see transactions, we see relationships. And that's something we talk about every day. The one thing I will say that, when people tell me, oh, we're not going to need loan officers anymore, and it's just going to be like, plugging in your order and then you get your loan, I don't believe that, because it might get close to that, but I would, if a consumer could fill out an app and get their application to funding, that'd be great. That'd give me more time to go mountain biking and golfing. But any mortgage brokers will tell you this. How many loans files do you need to jump into and make adjustments or restructure so that the loan goes through properly and seamlessly? And if you just have end clients that just fill out an application and you toss it into an underwriter, it's going to be a train wreck most of the time.
Absolutely. And when there's high volumes, it takes those underwriters longer.
Right.
It impacts the borrower experience that you can deliver. And then it's kind of that whole snowball effect. We dealt with it last year. You gave an example of your own personally, but how many lenders dealt with capacity issues and had slow turn times,
Correct.
Poor borrower experience, low satisfaction scores, all of that impacts it. Tell me a little bit. We've talked tech. We've talked mm-hmm. about some of the trends going on. You also produce a show. Tell us about your show. If people aren't listening to it yet, tell them where they can find it. Give me some insights of some of the things you share on your show.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I never met a microphone I didn't love. That's for sure. So I have a bit of a media background, and I wanted to leverage. Everyone says that video content is everything, and I was seeing a lot of bad content out there, which is okay, but a lot of shaky camera, bad lighting, And I just knew that I wanted to get a vehicle going to where I could kind of freely talk about some topics in the industry with really interesting people. And so I just came up with this broker show, and it just kind of snowballed from there. And I started it at the beginning of COVID, which is probably not ideal timing, but I'm able to,
or maybe perfect timing, right?
Maybe, yeah. I mean, so that's one of the reasons I had KP on so much. But it's not just a show to like get content out there and such. For me, the kind of it's the hidden agenda, if you will, is keeping myself, my brand top of mind, staying out front with content for clients. My clients are all over my social media. And the thing about it is, when you're interviewing, and I'm sure you know this, Michael, some of the challenge to do regular video content is the content. It's like, God, what am I going to talk about? I'm going to turn this camera on. And so, if I'm just providing the platform and the conduit to go out and get some really interesting interviews, there's my content. For me, I did things a little different. I wanted, of course, I wanted to be different. I wanted a little different look to my show. I wanted it to be live. I wanted it to be in, visually, stunning places, that type of deal. So I kind of just made that part of the show, and I wanted it to be kind of a loose, Jimmy Kimmel meets Phil Donahue type thing. I'm sure all the young people out there have no clue what I'm talking about, but so and it's turned into something really fun, and if nothing else, it's helped me meet a lot of people in this industry I would not have met, like you, and to me, that's a great thing. I love the people in this industry.
I couldn't agree more. And if people want to watch your show, listen to your show, where can they find it? What's the best way that they can interact with that content?
Yeah, thanks. It's go to YouTube and just search The Broker with Rich Lane or hashtag The Broker. I'm on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Those are the main. Oh, and LinkedIn. I love LinkedIn. I mean, God, that's great. So yeah, I'm huge on LinkedIn. Hit me up. I would love to have anyone who's interesting as a guest. And yeah.
Excellent. Rich, one of the other areas that I get a lot of questions on is, okay, we're in this purchase market. Mm-hmm. How do I establish and build rapport with realtors? And I know you've worked with some of the top real estate agents across the country. You've helped structure a lot of deals. What are ways that brokers and originators can better develop relationships with real estate agents? Yeah,
to me, that's the toughest. That's the secret sauce for sure. Number one, anytime you're on a purchase loan, don't consider it a purchase loan. Consider it an audition. For both of those real estate agents, the listing agent and the buyer's agent. I don't care how many agents you talk to who say, oh, I've been using my loan guy forever. I have an in-house letter. It doesn't matter. Real estate agents are always on the edge of getting rid of their lender. For fair or not, that's just the lay of the land. So that is an audition for you. If you do a great job on the audition, you better follow up with those people. The other way that bring value to some real estate agents. I've done some video content with agents, stuff like that, and so a lot of times I will identify an agent who's doing great production but maybe has zero digital footprint. I'll reach out to them and say, hey, look, let's do some content together, and just try one loan with me, one loan, and then my team and I know that one loan is kind of like an American Idol audition. So,
right,
yeah.
Well, I love it, and you talk about adding value. And I think that's one of the areas that people struggle, right?
Yep.
They've got to take their eyes off themselves and focus what's in it for the real estate agent.
Right.
It's not putting your hand out and saying, send me your loans.
No.
There's 50 million people trying to do that, and that doesn't get anywhere. So dive a little bit deeper. You gave one example of the digital content. Any other examples you could give of what are things that people can give these agents that are value? When I say value, valuable content, information, you got to follow all RESPA. You got to follow all the other rules and regulations.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about that, but share with me or share with our listeners maybe one or two other tips of what you mean by value from a content perspective.
Listen, when you're going after real estate agents, you're going to get a lot of doors closed on you. I get that. But if you make your phone calls, if you go out on the weekends and you visit open houses, you're going to have to kiss a lot of ugly dogs to find the people out there that you actually get a connection with. Once you get a connection with, I hit them at all angles, phone call, text, and we talk about what's going on in the marketplace. And from there, it's just old-fashioned peeling back the onion. And I said this earlier, the deals are made on the phone. So as painful as it is, instead of just shooting out text messages, I pick up the phone and I call agents. I ask them if they're, hey, are you doing an open house this weekend? Can I get the word out? Can I come by? Anything like that. What's going on in your book of business? Oh, you have a lender? Great. Can I put me on the bench? And if that lender can't do the loan or craps out, can I be the backup guy? Anything like that. Just trying to get hitting them with everything, trying to get any crack of connection. And you're going to get a lot of no's, but, through those no's, you build a couple of relationships, and it's totally worth it.
I love about making those connections. And it's amazing in today's day and age where we have to say, hey, one of the ways to differentiate yourself is actually pick up the damn phone.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because people are so, hey, I'd rather just shoot an email. It's easier. I don't have to interact, and it doesn't work.
Right. Well, and one of the top producing mortgage brokers in the country, Todd Bitter, his whole thing is answer the phone. And I live by those words. And, his consistent results prove that out. So as much as my wife and two daughters probably want to kill me sometimes at dinner when I've got to step away and grab a phone call, that's part of the responsibility and the freedom of this business.
Absolutely. Rich, you and I could continue to talk on and on. There's so many great insights that you're sharing with our audience. What are some of the things you see for the rest of this year and leading into 2022 for the market and really for the future of what brokers are doing and originating?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think the Fed's going to taper the rates here coming up in September, October. So, I think pricing, people are going to be talking about pricing and margin compression a lot. So for me, I really want to start building more relationships with referral partners outside of the real estate arena, bankruptcy attorneys, CPAs, financial advisors, anyone, just because, again, like I said on the outside, I think volume for all originators is going to decrease a little bit, but when I say that, I'm a huge believer in you manufacture your own microeconomy and your own sales results. So it's going to get a little tighter, but more phone calls. So it's going to be the next 12 to 24 months in the entire industry is going to be super interesting. I think you're going to see a lot of consolidation. Maybe some people leave the industry who have been eating the gravy refis, and but just like in anything in life, the cream will rise. The top people, the innovative people, the ones that are hitching their wagon to really good platforms, they're going to thrive.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. Rich, thank you so much for being a guest on this episode of the Fintech Hunting Podcast.